I get you in the mood for my NOLA review. I decided to do this week's bullshit and expand the parameters by which I do these reviews to extend to vacations and places I've gone for the first time since I haven't really been that many places. Started a little travel series this week's bullshit. This week on this week's bullshit. New Orleans, NOLA, guys. I went down there, and ladies and gentlemen, I gotta tell you, if you haven't been, and you love music, then you need to go to New Orleans. You need to go there as soon as possible. I guess we'll start off with the review of the hotel a little bit of a touch of the hotel. The hotel was fantastic. I stayed at Hotel St. Marie. It's on Toulouse Street, right in the corner of Bourbon, so it was right there, right in all of the action, and the hotel had a courtyard, which was where I stayed, and you know, being in the courtyards on the inside of the hotel, it actually you can experience quiet on Bourbon Street, sort of close to Bourbon Street. So that was nice, and it was just a beautiful hotel. It was really gorgeous the way it was and everything like that. We'll get into the food later. That's something I hit up on my way out, pretty much. Bourbon Street. I don't know what to say about Bourbon Street other than fucking madness, man. It's just complete madness. Listen, Go Cups are a game changer. The cool thing about New Orleans is you go, whatever bar you go to, you can ask them to put it in a Go Cup, and they throw it in a Go Cup for you, and you just keep on walking and take it to the next bar if you want to. But if you take it to the next bar, then you got to buy a beer at the next bar, which is, you know, that was very difficult for me. I had a hard time buying more alcohol. What else? You need more than 2 days. I think that if you're going to go down there, try to, you know, make it a week if you can afford it, because there is so much to do. Also, if you're going to do any tours, like there was a voodoo tour or something like that, plan to do the tour and book the tour in advance. One of the mistakes I made was I was trying to go on the voodoo tour and it sold out. So that was kind of a bummer, but that's all right. I made my own fun. You know, I make my own fun wherever I go. But it was not very hard to make your own fun in New Orleans. The fun is already there. It's just, it really is. And it's such a beautiful city all around. Some of the highlights. St. Louis Cathedral, which is at the Rue Royal in St. Anne Street. Probably just called Royal Street, but it always says Rue Royale. I don't know. That's probably French or Creole for street, but I really don't know. But what do you call it? That little place right there is awesome. The cool thing about St. Louis Cathedral is in front of St. Louis Cathedral, in between. There's an area that nobody could drive through, and musicians just congregated down there. Basically what happened was I found it just because I found everything by exploring. I didn't really look and say, I want to go here, except when I wanted to go to Frenchman Street. I'll get into that later. What do you call it? I was just walking down Bourbon Street, and then I stopped for a second because I couldn't hear the music from the bars, which was, you know, always prominent, you know, but I heard horns, you know, and so I just followed the horns, and that's how I found St. Louis Cathedral, which was really, really a great place to just chill out and listen to, you know, various musicians just doing their thing. And there's a lot of very interesting things. They had pirates dressed up on Pirate Street. I got photos of that. You can see all of that inside the slideshow that I put together. By the way, if you haven't checked the slideshow out, I know you've seen pictures that I've posted up, but if you haven't checked out the slideshow, I put Kermit Ruffins playing in the background, and it's just kind of a nice little beautiful go through. It only takes a minute and 10 seconds to go through, so in a way it's a lot quicker than this review is. But whatever. I wanted to give an extensive review. I had a fucking great time. I really did. I had an excellent time. I can't remember the last time I went to any particular place and had this much fun as far as destinations are concerned. This was even more fun than Vegas. And, you know, they had a casino there. I didn't walk into it, but they did it. The Harris Casino's on Canal Street. I didn't get a chance to go in there, but I didn't want to. I had the best weather. I literally was blessed with 28% humidity. Think about that. Chew on that for a second. I went to New Orleans and it was only 28% humidity. Even the people at the hotel were like, dude, this is rare what we got here. You had the most gorgeous of weather, and it was 72 for a high, clear skies, no rain. It was just absolutely beautiful. I went. All right, so after my night at Bourbon Street, when I got done playing around at St. Louis Cathedral, listening to a couple music here, listening to some music there, relax a little bit. I wanted to get back to Bourbon Street and check out some of the music, inside the bars. So what I found about Bourbon Street is that there are a lot of really, really good bands, but they're all cover bands, basically. I mean, almost every band has a horn in it, but some don't. Some are just rock bands playing cover songs. There was one guy that just had a guitar and he was playing background and he was killing some blues. But for the most part, every musician in these cover bands they're just ridiculous. I wound up in a piano bar at one point. I'd like to tell you the clubs that you should or shouldn't hit, but I think it doesn't really matter. I think you just go to Bourbon Street and it's the Go Cups that allow you the freedom to just peruse and just poke your head into any one. There weren't any covers, so it wasn't like I was committed to staying into one particular place. They were almost encouraged to drink and go and sample music from each place, and it was great. I went to about 4 or 5 different places, and every single one of them had absolutely wonderful musicians in them. It was absolutely great. It really, really was. But that goes for the whole entire city. Like, the entire city has great musicians, whether it was a 5-year-old playing on a bucket or a trumpet. Just unbelievable stuff. Unbelievably great things. That was my first night. I went back to the hotel, hung out with the bartender, Victoria, who was really, really cool to me while I was there. She gave me some tips and stuff I should do. I got a recommendation to go down to Frenchman Street because she found out that I was a musician and I love music. So she told me that that's the place that you want to be, the 7th Ward in Frenchman Street. And I gotta tell you, I wasn't disappointed. That's where I ate, but I wish I had more time so that I could have and just hung out in a lot of these, like. So, what else was there? Music is distracting me. All right, got up the next morning. I went for a walk. I got up at 4 a.m. for some reason, and I just couldn't sleep. But then there wasn't anything open to eat, so I was pretty much stewing in my hotel room for a little while, and then so once it turned 7 o'clock, and I knew breakfast places were starting to open. That's when I went out and I started walking up and down the Mississippi, the mighty Mississippi. But and then I got back from the Mississippi, my little Mississippi stroll, which was considerable, by the way. Just FYI, you should know that I walked, according to my phone, 9.1 miles on Friday and 10.5 miles on Saturday. So I walked all over. I explored the shit out of the French Quarter. I know I did the French Quarter well. When I was coming back across the street from the Mississippi River, a marathon had broke out. I was kind of hungover, and I was looking for food, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? A fucking marathon. So I crossed over. I actually walked down to Frenchman Street again, and then walked back up the Royal Street. And at Royal and St. Anne, I found this place called Pierre Antoine. I think that's the way you say it. I'm not sure. Pierre Antoine. Royal Street and St. Anne, on the corner of that. That's where that place was, and that's where I decided to have breakfast. Nice, mellow place. Great architecture on the inside. Very, very unique architecture everywhere in the fucking city. I was going to take pictures of in there because I love the way the thresholds of the places were just set up so glamorously or just elegant. I don't know what to say about it. Just so beautiful. I didn't want to take pictures because there was only 3 of us in there eating breakfast, and it was just like, it was very chill. Guy put me in a seat right next to Royal Street, and I just got to be able to soak in the sights and happenings, people walking by, whatever. It wasn't, it's amazing the difference between the crowded streets of, how crowded the streets are on Bourbon Street on the night, and then at 7 o'clock in the morning, there's absolutely nobody out there, but a bunch of garbage all over the place. Which, by the way, they clean up by, no later than 8:30. All of the stuff from the night before's damage is cleaned up by 8:30, 9 o'clock. Crazy. So I had the breakfast at the Pierre on Twin. I know I'm not saying that fucking right, but I ain't French, so what the fuck do you want from me? And after that, I went back to the hotel and literally just dropped on my bed and fell asleep for a couple hours. I wanted to go to Magazine Street, didn't make it. Didn't make it because I just slept. And then when I woke up, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna walk around for a little while, and then maybe try to find a place to eat that way. Couldn't decide on what I wanted, so I just kept walking and walking and walking. And then I said, screw it. You know what? I had tickets to go see Kermit Ruffins at the Little Gem Saloon at 7 o'clock on Saturday night. And I just decided, you know what? Screw it. I'm starving, but that's okay. I'll just go and I'll eat where Kermit's playing. So I get to the Little Gem Saloon. I asked them for a table, and they said they didn't have any tables, and I had tickets to get in, but they let me in. But they said, well, we don't really have any tables for you, though, because I guess you got to make reservations for the place. Did not know that. If you ever go to the Little Gem Saloon, then make sure you make a reservation at a table. Not at the bar, but at the table. They had a seat at the bar. I went and sat at the bar, and the bartender told me that they don't serve food to people at the bar. I don't know why. I hadn't eaten since breakfast. I was starving. So I was annoyed at that, but everything ended as soon as Kermit came in the house, because that guy had a big old smile on his face. He was happy to be there. He brings in his own bucket. I mean, a big, big tub bucket, not like a bucket, but a big tub bucket of Bud Light. Pops that crap right in front of where he's about to start singing, and so he could just grab his beers while he's playing. And then he started honestly, I started feeling better the moment he walked in the room. Kermit's a great. He really loves. You can see that he loves it. He loves everything about. I think the city itself and playing and all that crap. So, and then once he started playing, I was like, oh, whatever. I don't give a shit. I'll fucking starve. So this lady next to me, I was telling her about it. And she said, "Oh shit, I did the same thing the night before." She was like, "But now I'm smart. I carry around some food." She was like, "I got some almonds." And so she gave me a handful of almonds. So I ate them, and that tided me over until Kermit was done. I left after the first set because I was pretty damn hungry and I needed to eat, and almonds weren't doing the trick. I went back to the hotel, and Victoria was there again to greet me, which was nice to have the same bartender 2 nights in a row. She had to quiet me down because I was pretty excited. Because apparently I get really loud when I'm drunk. You guys know this. I'm sure you guys know this. So yeah. Anyway, sautéed shrimp with spiced with some kind of whatever they spiced it with. Some kind of Cajun shit. Damn. And after I ate the shrimp that I got at the Hotel Saint Maria, I was like, why the fuck haven't I eaten here? Like for lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I spent a million years wandering around the city, and all along I was staying at a hotel that made great food. After I had the shrimp, I ordered what would I get? Fried chicken sliders on biscuits. And they had some kind of sauce that went with it. I couldn't tell you because, when I was wandering around in New Orleans, they didn't have any Tullamore Dew, and I think that there's a host of you out there that know how much I love that. But my hotel had it. So I've come to the right place then. So, yeah. The only other thing is that, all right, so I do want to go back. I feel like I'm actually going to try to make an annual thing out of this. I'm going to try to pick some time. Maybe I'll just go every year for my birthday. Maybe not. Who knows? We'll see. Next year I would have stayed if I had gone for Easter and I'd known that they were going to do an Easter parade. Then I would have made it. So I flew out at least late enough that I could enjoy the parade. All the tours and all that other stuff like that too. So I don't know what else to say. Restorative trip. Like I said, I didn't hear a bad musician. I did not hear one bad musician the entire time I was there. So it was beautiful. So I did the French Quarter and I did a little bit of Frenchman Street. I also ate at Frenchman Street. I had some chicken wings down there that were really, really good at this place called Willie's, I think. And let's see here, the Little Gem Saloon is over by the Superdome. So that was actually out of the French Quarter too. So other than that, my walk up the Mississippi and going to Frenchman Street, I pretty much spent my entire time in the French Quarter. So next time I go down there, it's going to be a Frenchman Street trip. I want to stay down there. Also, I learned that there's like these really, really awesome hotels down there that look like houses. You know, they're like gated and they just look like a house. And so I really want to look into trying to stay at one of those instead. I don't know if it'll be pricier or not less pricey or anything like that, but I definitely want to stay down by Frenchman Street because that's where I wanted to go and check out stuff at the Blue Nile. I wanted to go check out, a couple of sets at the Spotted Cafe, that kind of thing. I want to spend quality time down there because that's where all the good musicians really go to play, according to the locals. Other than that, Magazine Street's another thing that I didn't get a chance. Somebody told me that I also didn't get a chance to look at the Garden District. So, and like I said, there's a million different things to do in New Orleans. The World War II Museum is supposed to be really, really good, but the weather was so fantastic, I just couldn't see myself, staying there. But anyway, that's my NOLA review, guys. I recommend you go. I recommend you drop everything right now and buy a plane ticket and get yourself a hotel room somewhere. Try to stay in the French Quarter if you can. It's your first time because you got to see that. It's a spectacle. It really, really is. I thought that I was thinking that if it's not Mardi Gras weekend that Bourbon Street wasn't going to be that busy, but Saturday night Bourbon Street was packed like it was just unbelievable. Great atmosphere, good environment. Be aware when you go to a big city. There's always going to be some crime, but it wasn't nearly as bad as people made it out to be. There's some homeless, but it wasn't nearly as bad as people made it out to be. Let me put it that way. I mean, you just got to be aware when you go to a big city. Anytime you travel, anytime you travel, you got to look out for people trying to get stuff from you. But I highly recommend it. I give New Orleans. Just go, motherfuckers. Do something good for yourself. Do something good for somebody else. Love you all.